This is Rabbi Yosef Vigler. Today we're going to take a look at a clip by Alan Watts, who really was a bridge between Eastern thinking and Western society. Listen to this clip.
Everyone these days is talking about meditation, as if it were some peculiar skill, some extraordinary discipline that one must master, like playing the violin or learning mathematics. But the very moment you try to do it, you've already missed the point entirely.
People think meditation is a thing you do, correct? His point right away is that meditation is not a thing. It's anti-thing. It's no thing. It's your ability to get away from being, from expressing yourself into a state of just being.
You cannot meditate. You simply cannot. The very attempt is already failure. For the simple reason that the ego, the thinker, the little voice inside your head, are the very obstruction to meditation itself. Thinking is nothing but a form of inner chatter, like talking to oneself. And
there's a big noise that happens inside our head. I like to call it the meshugana inside your head. And all the time he's thinking, and trying to analyze and trying to critically figure things out. And little do you realize that when you shut down that voice and you get to an internal voice, that's meditation. Most of us don't even understand what that means.
As long as that chatter goes on, you remain trapped in a world of abstractions, a world of symbols about reality, rather than reality itself. You see, reality is not a thought. It's not a word. It's not a name. Reality is now. And this moment, this eternal present, cannot be grasped by the mind that seeks to capture it, because the mind can only represent, never experience directly. The trouble, you see, is that most people try to meditate by struggling with their own minds. They sit in their little postures, gritting their teeth, attempting to silence thought, to force tranquility. But that's like trying to smooth rough water with a flat iron. The harder you try, the more turbulent it becomes.
You ever tried falling asleep? The more you try to fall asleep, try to figure out how you fall asleep, the more impossible it becomes to fall asleep. You can't figure out how to fall asleep. You can't figure out how to meditate. By definition, it's a process of losing yourself into something greater and higher.
No, you cannot meditate by effort. You can only allow meditation to happen. In the same way that you allow yourself to listen to the hum of the world, without trying to understand it, without naming, without grasping, just listen, just be. And in that effortless being, meditation arises on its own. You see, most people are simply addicted to thinking. That endless chattering inside your skull, words, symbols, images, it never stops. And it is quite literally talking to yourself. Now, if you talk all the time, you never hear what anyone else has to say. And if you think all the time, you never allow yourself to encounter what is real.
Very powerful. Man is created ex nihilo, yesh, ayin. And that means by your very definition, you're a yesh. You exist as a separate being to God. You don't have the ability as a creation to even imagine what it means to be nothing. If you imagine nothing, close your eyes. What do you actually imagine? Black. You don't know what it means. That God is out of time? How long has he been there? Where is he? Out of space. To imagine that there's no time and no space, nothing, truly nothing, is almost impossible. So we keep on trying to get something, and we make this meditation into something, because the yesh, the being, is not able to reach the ayin, the nothingness.
All you have are your own thoughts about reality, which are merely representations, not reality itself. You live, as it were, inside a map, mistaking it for the territory. Inside a world of symbols that refer to things, but are not the things themselves. You see a tree, and you call it tree. But the word tree is not the living, rustling, swaying reality out there. It's only a noise, a convenient label. This is the basic illusion. The mind, constantly labeling, separates you from what is. It creates a gap, a gulf between the observer and the observed, between the knower and the known. And in that gap, you feel alienated. You feel alone, cut off from the universe that you are actually inseparable from. You see, it's rather curious. We live in this constant attempt to describe, to name, to control. But reality does not need your commentary. It simply is. And when you are endlessly thinking, you're living in a kind of dream world, never directly touching life, but merely talking to yourself about it. This, you see, is the first great obstacle to meditation.
Alan is making an extremely powerful point. If you want to get to be able to meditate, to lose yourself into something higher, it's about losing touch with the external and getting into the internal. And so he says, when you name a tree, and you're not experiencing the actual experience of what a tree is, you're losing touch. You're being external and not connected. So what he's advocating for is reaching a state of nothingness, a state of just being. Here's the problem. That's Eastern thinking. Let's step into a little bit of Jewish thinking. You see, there is a language which actually is not a barrier and an obstacle to divine revelation. He's absolutely correct. When you look at a tree as a tree, a T-R-E-E, that tree blocks the reality that belies it, the true godly reality. When Adam was created, his first order of the day was Vayikra Adam Shemot. Adam went around and he gave names to everything. He saw the ox and he named him Shor. He saw the stone and he named it an Evan. Anything he saw, he was able to name. That's very significant. Why is that the great act of Adam? It's because God designed the world with letters. God created the world with words. With 10 sayings, God created the world. He spoke the world into existence. It doesn't mean that God spoke and the world existed. It means the speech is the world. And so when you use the holy tongue, you're actually able to label each thing for what it is. And so true, if you look at a tree as a T-R-E-E, and you look the viewing from that perspective, you'll be stuck. The word tree blocks you from your inner reality. But when you look at the word tree as an eitz, ayin tzaddik, that's how God created it. That's what it is. When you sit down in the middle of a forest in a serene pasture land, and you look at the trees and you meditate on them, you can feel a connection to the divine. Alan is advocating to sit down and feel the nothingness. And that's absolutely critical. You look at the trees, you feel the ruffle, and you go into yourself and you let yourself just transcend. Just stop thinking, just notice, and just stay in that point. But after you do that, if you have the power of Lashon HaKodesh, of the holy tongue, you can actually stare at that tree and say, hey, it's not a T-R-E-E, it's an eitz, ayin tzaddik. I'm using the holy tongue. The shape of the ayin and the shape of the tzaddik. You look at them, and you look at the tree, and you'll see the branches are actually, in a certain sense, shaped like the ayin and the tzaddik. Pay attention to that. And then, as you look at the tree, allow yourself to think about the letters ayin and tzaddik, eitz, and find the connection to other words in the holy tongue. So eitz is eitzah. Eitzah means counsel, advice. Eitz is etzem. Etzem means the essence. Look at the tree and allow yourself to feel what the tree is. It's an eitz. I, as a human being, am compared to a tree. Adam eitz hasadeh. And just like a tree is rooted in the ground and then gets out of the ground and produces a beautiful trunk and these fruits, and that's magnificent. Allow yourself to feel how man is like a tree. Adam eitz hasadeh. He's rooted in his core. That's the etzem. And as you go out, you have that eitzah, all the ideas and counsel of what you're trying to achieve. As long as you're connected to the core, your ideas are going to stem from an inner being. Don't just look at a tree and feel nothingness. Look at a tree. Find God. Look at him and say, wow, I see divine providence. Look at the leaves as they ruffle. Every detail's created by God at this moment. Look deeper at the holy tongue and you'll see it's an eighth. And see yourself in the connection to a tree. See yourself as eighths, the person with the counsel and ideas rooted in the ground. When you do that meditation, you'll feel connected not in the sense of nothingness. Nothingness and somethingness combine and unite. Because the goal in Judaism is that the external and the internal be aligned. That we find God in the open world. And then being in nature is not just feeling the nothingness. It's then realizing the somethingness of what I am is also part of God. That comes about by using language, identifying, using the holy tongue.